Who's the top guy in the club for fishing every day? Fishinfrank. You say you want to catch some fish.
How's everybody out there? It's Friday, which means Area Fishing Report, the place-by-place report.
In which we go place by place talking about the fishing that's been happening in those places.
It should be relatively short today. Too cold, too cold, too cold, too cold. We should be able to get through this in like 10 minutes.
Don't forget too low.
Too low and too cold. Yes, that's right. I'm going low and I'm going cold. One of our guys had a bunch of baby rabbits come into his where his dogs go out to go to the bathroom. So I'm rabbit sitting for the next few days. Little bitty baby bunny. You probably fit two of them in the palm of your hand, 1.5 anyway. But I got him in a box in the house. I'm going to let him go on Tuesday after the cold spell comes up. So he's got milk and grass and all that stuff. And when you see him running around, they're already weaned. They don't leave the nest until they're weaned. They look like they're not, but they're little ones.
They're little teeny tiny things, but they're already ready to be out on their own.
Yeah, best thing to do is just leave them alone. They're not good pets. They're kind of the point of this is they don't make good pets. Wild bunnies are wild bunnies, and they're nice to you. Then they'll bite you, and you get upset with them, and But because it's going to be 28, 30 degrees here in the next couple of days, I didn't have the heart to let them go outside.
I'm happy to hear about your bunny hugging tendencies.
Yeah,
makes me feel better about mine.
Yeah, I don't like cormorants, but I like bunnies. I have a thing for wild rabbits. Enjoy those. Out in the wide world, anything else going on?
It's going to be interesting the next several days.
I don't know if you guys have seen the forecast, but they're predicting that there might be snow flurries here.
I've seen it snow once here. Stopped by a cop right about Christmas. I think it was 84. And I come off Edgewater, had the old lady's Mustang, and I went to go off Edgewater, go south because we lived in Punta Gorda back then. And when I went to go around, felt the back of the car going, well, I wasn't that long from, living up in snow country. So I just turned the wheel and took it around the 360, a little power turn, and went south on 41, no big deal. There was no cars anywhere. You couldn't see a car at all. And I didn't make 3 blocks and the blue lights came on. I was like, really? So right before the bridge, there used to be a gas station there. I pulled over where he stopped me. And we're sitting there talking, and it's Christmas, and we're, just having a conversation, He said, that was quite a turn you did. I said, well, there was nobody around. It started to go. I said, I just, why not go all the way around? And we were talking. He was trying to decide if he was going to give me a ticket. And all of a sudden, you look up the street lights, and the snow is just pouring past the street lights. Get about 3 feet off the ground, and the heat of the ground would just melt it. So you had snow coming down until that last 3 feet, and then it would turn to mist, rain. So, but kind of curious to see it again. We had that one year in the 90s. Remember where everything had icicles all over it?
Yeah.
It was in the late 90s.
No, actually, I think that was early 2000s.
Early 2000s?
Yeah.
I know it was a while ago.
Yeah.
But people had fountains. It was just icicles all over their fountains, and we had...
You know what? It might have been like 99, because that was the year we blamed Y2K and
Y2K.
the Mayan end of the world thing.
Yeah.
And it happened on the new year, because that's when everything was a real bad freeze.
No, that was 12/21/12.
Okay.
2012 was the end of the Mayan calendar. The world was going to end.
The world was going to end because they didn't know if computers were going to be able to switch over from 99 to... Yes.
Y2K was in 99.
And that's when that freeze happened.
Yeah. So... we got trying to remember which calamity we did. 'Cause we used to do sales on that. We had at 12/21/12, we ran a big sale. Warranties good till the end of the year, or the
end of the world.
The end of the world, yes, end of the world. We had a big end of the world sale, and we also had one for 99 to 2000 Y2K, big end of the world sale.
Probably not going to have the end of the world if we have a little bit of snow flurries, but it would be interesting to see it. The problem is that the air is going to be really, really dry, so we don't know if it's going to happen or not.
Yeah, I doubt if it's because it's usually when it get cold front, it gets real dry.
Yeah.
But the thing I remember about some of those, I did landscaping down here for a while and maintenance, yard maintenance and landscaping and all that. Is it if we do get that snow, or like in '99 we've got that, the landscapers get rich because all the plants die. It kills like 80% of everything that's not used to it. Even plants that are hardy for up north don't last well in this cold. So big money for the yard people, landscapers on that.
Yep.
Palm trees, they're dying left and right. All right. I guess we get started.
Probably a good idea.
Probably.
You ready to get beamed in?
Sure.
All right. Let's see if we can find the beamer buttons here.
The beamer button.
Yeah. Don't forget your shades.
Oh, yeah. Do I do the flying fisherman wraparound or the flying fisherman old guy cool works great? Old guy
I think
cool.
the old guy, I'm hesitant to stay cool, but yeah, the old guy
No,
glasses.
it's
We'll
flat
just
out
go
old
with
guy
those.
cool.
Yeah.
You know, young guys, you're the youngest one of the bunch. You just don't get it
Put
yet.
them on. Don't burn out your retinas. Come on.
All
Here
right.
we go. All right. Let's see if we can get you in there. All right. Find the screen, and then we can see if we can find the sound, and where's the buttons to do the thing. We've got Frank beamed in. Okay. Great. There you are. All right. Let's see if
funny
we can
is
find me
it's-
and Robert.
It's
There we
warm
are.
outside. You don't want the, but I get in here and it's like 15 degrees colder than it is outside.
Yeah,
And
that's part
the
of that
green
old guy
hair,
cool thing you were talking about.
Yeah, green hair the other day. I'm actually not going woke and trying to join the young people revolution. A little hairspray, grease, whatever it is, puff. My hair's naturally puffy, and when it's puffy, it goes green on the screen. So
We can put you on this screen, and we can see just how green your hair actually is or isn't.
yes,
But yeah,
there's green in the back there,
yeah.
but it's from
That's
this behind me.
Put you back where you belong. So,
Okay.
here, there we go. All right, let's kick this thing off. It goes with the Peace River, Harbor Heights, and upriver, along with Shell Creek area. Robert.
It's one of the few places where I've had some reports. If you can get either off your lift or to the spot where you need to go, because we've had a whole lot of negative tides and wind effect, period, with all the water around here right now. It's been pretty wild. From Harbor Heights area, under the docks and under the bushes, a few redfish. Actually had one report of a guy caught a couple small snook, a couple mangrove snapper. He caught a couple snook also up towards Shell Creek along that straightaway. And that's kind of about it.
Yeah.
It's been tough with this wind and tides. I mean, everyone's been telling me about driving over, looking around Harbor Heights and over 75 and how much sand and mud they're seeing everywhere. Pretty interesting.
It's pretty low out there. There's power lines that go across the Peace River, and at both ends of the power lines where the big high-rise poles to hold up the wires, there's a lot of concrete all around those, and you've got some redfish hanging around those big concrete supports for the tower poles.
Nice.
But that's about all I've heard of. I haven't heard of any snapper with them or anything, but
Just been a few, but not many.
yeah, it should be a lot more fish because it's fairly deep there. And I actually, Josh, can you zoom in?
Where do you want it?
I want to try and find the power pole. Power line. The problem with sitting down in this chair, I always step on my cord and unplug myself. All right, let's see. The power lines are, where the heck are the power lines? They should be coming across right here somewhere. All right, I'm not seeing them. Well, how did I get lost here?
Don't see anything
Okay.
there. I'll zoom back out and you can tell me where
Okay.
to go.
Now, here's Whidden. Power line should be,
North of Whidden.
yeah, there should be right in here somewhere. Oh well, I'm lost today. For some reason, I just can't think of
You
where
know,
they
they're a
are.
lot easier to see
Oh,
when you're on the
should be-
water.
Should be right here. Should be right across there. Don't, but I don't see them. But it should be right there because I know at Hunter Creek, this is where I like to fish the power lines, right here on Hunter Creek. Now, this area on Hunter Creek, there's power lines going across, and I think probably, yeah, what's that right there? Yeah, power lines, I think. I don't know.
It
what that
appears
is.
to be a stick.
Stick. Okay, but anyway, power lines right here somewhere. Underneath this side of the power line, I actually do better than I do on the Peace River side. Peace River side is decent fishing, but it's usually better over here at Hunter Creek. That's your tip of the day.
All right. Then we'll move it on to
I don't know
the
why we couldn't find the
I-75
power
bridge.
lines. It doesn't make any sense at all.
They're there someplace.
Yeah.
I-75 bridge.
I've got no reports for that area, but you should show that sandbar, Frank, a huge one, because that's going to be an area where people
This-
need to look at with the Lewis and Clark kind of thing
Okay, well, explain to me which.
on the northbound side.
Okay, up by the flat bridge?
Yeah.
All right. This is all underwater here. These are underwater sandbars. The green on this end and going up into here. This, I see fish busting here probably more than I do any other place. But I've fished it several times. I don't do that well. There's a little pocket along this edge where you can do fairly good fishing, but you got to avoid this sandbar coming out. So this is where the main channel of the river is. This is where the wooden bumpers, you go under I-75. And as you come out, now this is theoretically all slow, no wake, but more than that, it's 2 foot or less. It's very seldom I've ever been in here with more than 2 feet of water. But there is a little pocket here that's decent fishing. And then if you have a higher tide where you've got a foot of water on this or more, you do get redfish off the corner of this. But what's neat to do at this time of year, you see how this comes through? There's a manatee sign sits in this. And that's how you find where that trough goes through. But along this island up here is pretty good fishing. This is underwater going through here. This is actually an island. But this little creek up here is, I wouldn't say it's decent fishing. You can find a mixture of snapper, sheephead, redfish, snook, catfish. Unfortunately, there's catfish that go in there quite a bit. Once you're into this, there's actually some water in there, usually 4 feet or so.
Sorry, I'm trying to embiggen you and make it easier for you to stretch. There we go.
No, it's okay. I can
It's
just
good.
move.
Well, I thought maybe it'd be easier for you to read some of that stuff from sitting down. So
Oh, no, I'm fine standing up, but if I'm not pointing at something, why be this big on the screen? But there is some nice fishing right up in here. It's not great, but it's worth checking out. But getting from here, which is 3.5 feet of water, over this little bar right here, which is usually about 2.5 feet. This is not where you can just run into that. You have to be very careful getting up into that creek. As you get back up in here around all this, it's steady at about 1.5 feet of water on any modest tide. But this out here, you would think there would be something, but it's so shallow, the fish bypass that, they come along this edge, and out along this bar, you can occasionally find some small tarpon and stuff. You just got to watch for them, but they tend to hang out right in this area where on an incoming tide where the water's sweeping around this bar, and it creates a little turmoil here. But there's some really cool stuff up in here. There's some relatively deep water, but it's really hard to get from here up into here. You can do it on a 1.5 tide or better, but if you got a 1.0, a lot of times you don't make it over this bar for this one. It's it's really skinny, but it's very cool little area. Then you got back up here with Bird Key and all this. There's some nice stuff, but I like exploring here on the edge of this island and up in here because you've got two little pockets of deep water with all this sandbar. This is underwater, so you get a little pocket here and a little pocket here. But again, you got to get over this bar and you got to come around this one and follow the shoreline back in. But those are cool places to go. And right now it's great to see it. If you can get up there and just look, and you'll be able to get visuals of the sandbar. So once you see it, you can go back when the water's up and you can actually get the boat there. But right now it's a great time to actually see the sandbars.
Right.
All right.
Is that what you wanted, Robert?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I tell people this all the time, is that you should be going out there, because you taught me this so many years ago, to look and see where those bars are exposed, because it's sometimes that possible travel spot for you to get across that sandbar because it's that unmarked channel where it drops off a little bit, but mostly because you can actually learn the topography of what you're fishing. It's like, okay, that's actually got a nice hump to it. That's got a quick drop off on that side. And that's got nothing for 200 yards. So I understand why I never catch fish in that section. It's a way for finding all of your future fishing spots when they're underwater.
And wintertime till about April, up the river does really good. Usually starts out October, November, and goes through till about April. After April, I don't do much in the river. It's getting too hot, too fresh.
What do we know from the 41 bridges, Robert?
They're getting a couple of trout. A couple guys caught some snook at night, all small guys. And then a guy actually caught, well, I guess that's the next little spot. He caught a couple of snook and a mangrove snapper and a couple trout right off the seawall over there by Lashley.
Oh, okay. But anything else from 41?
No.
Okay.
Sorry, I got ahead of myself there, but that was kind of them all right there in that same spot.
You sure did. I saw you.
But he fished the bridge a little bit. He didn't catch much there, but he actually walked the seawall. He had one day where there was enough water. Other than that, he said there was no water for 2 days in a row where he could fish it because it was 6-8 feet off the seawall of mud.
Yeah, you
So
can't
you
reach the
said
water.
snook
You're going to cast and try and
Mangrove
reach the
snapper
water.
and one trout. Well, yesterday when I woke up, it was about probably 6 to 8 inches past my piling on the outside of the dock.
Yeah, it's been real low. My big boat's sitting on the bottom several times this week. I've gone out to, check on the boat and do stuff, and I get on, it goes thunk. It's not moving. It's not. Usually you go to get on the boat and it pushes out or does this, and it just thunk.
Nice.
All right.
41-foot island.
The Port Charlotte Beach Pier. Oh, yeah, right. Those don't exist. So Spring Lake Park.
Getting a few ladyfish there, a couple of trout, and one sheepshead, and one little tiny mangrove snapper. Fishing was very slow over there the other day for 2 different gentlemen. They said they saw a few sheepshead go by, but they just got the one.
As far as the rest of the canals there, Port Charlotte.
The rest of the canals have been pretty darn slow. I stole my neighbor's pool thermometer last night, went over and threw it in the canal. It was either 59 or 60 because it's such a fine line right where it's at,
Right.
looking at it. It was either 59 or 60 degrees surface temperature.
We had one of the comments, and one of the things, the guy put out a shrimp all night, not even a catfish.
Yeah.
He had thrown a shrimp, and he sat there and waited, and then he said, "Well, we'll see what happens," and nothing all night.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's tough.
So do we have any hot spots in the canal that might be worth mentioning, or it's just slow?
It's just slow. I mean,
West Spring Lake's the only one of those that really has a lot of depth, unless you're talking Edgewater Lake. And Edgewater Lake over here's got the depth to protect fish. But most of these canals are so shallow, there's no cold protection. They're going to try and get out of there before they can, freeze. Now, the Elkham has got pretty good depth to it, little bits of the Sunrise. So you got fish there. They're waiting, but they're literally waiting it out.
Yeah, even the afternoon bite has been slow, but half these guys that own boats that can get up in there couldn't get their boats off the lift this week.
Yeah, we got the same
So-
problem up by us. we got guys that's sitting there with their boats, and people up on the Myakka, just up from here. There's a bunch of canals. There's a big canal that, let's see, where would it be? It'd be right up in here somewhere. Oh, here it is. You know, you okay?
Yeah, are you?
Okay. I just, you're getting a little nervous.
You pointed to where it was. I tried to get you there.
It's all good. But this canal here is a major boat access up in Northport, Jobean. I don't even know what this area would be, but you've got some nice redfish around this bar here, especially right now where you've got the deep water, and then they can you move this over by me a little bit? So there we go. You've got sandbar here, and the fish can get up on that and drop back into the river. So this sandbar actually does pretty darn good on redfish. You've got similar things here where you've got water coming out as created sandbar ridges, and that's what we're looking for, is deep water with places where they can go lay in the sun, and that happens right here a lot.
Yeah. This is the time of year when you go out later in the day. The later
Yeah,
in the day it is,
10,
the
11
better the
o'clock
fishing.
is when I'm going to start fishing.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure we just called this Northport, Frank.
Okay.
I think so. I mean, I don't.
I'm not,
what
it
else
is
it would be?
Northport, but it's kind of, I don't know. Northport.
I'll go with Northport.
Yeah.
Elgebean Bridge. Do we have anything there, Robert?
There have been a couple snook being caught there at night, and then a handful of trout. And didn't hear any reports of snapper or anything else. Just a few snook and a few trout.
No sheepies?
Nope.
So late during overnight, you've got fish out here in the deep water, and then by noon, you're going to have fish laying on a lot of the sandbars and stuff here, because it's all going to be in that bright sun, and that's going to attract fish up onto them. Not so much over here, but if you go down to like where Cattle Dock Point is, let's see, should be right here. Is it here or here? I can't remember. But these points like this, and this where you've got a break and it turns, this is a great spot for midday, early afternoon fishing.
Actually, I have a report for there this week.
Cattle
Go ahead.
dog?
Yeah. I got 2 redfish. You got like 3 or 4 trout and a couple of small sheepshead.
Where are we talking?
Cattle dock.
Cattle Dock?
As he was going into Gulf Cove there.
So it's
It's kind of the only
it's
report
either
I got
here
for
or
Gulf
here,
Cove,
but I think
basically.
it's here.
And honestly, I didn't ask him if he was fishing on the inside or the outside of it. He just said cattle dock. I'm like,
Well-
okay, it's the first report I've had for any of that area in a long time, so I rolled with it.
I'm trying to find out where McCoy was, because McCoy was a town, and they shipped cattle and turpentine, and I think this was where their shipping point was. And because, anyway, that's where I believe it was, but I can't find. There was books that had McCoy listed in the National Registry of Ghost Towns, and I'll get to why I'm talking about that in just a second. So where's the next place?
I'm just going to check and see if we had anything else up in that Myakka area. Tippy canoe, the cutoff, anything like that?
A couple trout by the cutoff, but not much. It's just been way too skinny. Nobody could get anywhere in there.
Okay.
Water's been terrifyingly low, so it's a jumbled mess of very little reports. It's literally, I try to base these reports on 2 or 3 individuals give me an area of fish where they're at. Most of these are like one person that was able to get out to that spot.
Doke. South Gulf Cove canals?
Nothing. Just that one at Cattle Dock. That's it.
All right, then the west wall.
All right. The reason I was talking about McCoy's, because this flat that we call the West Wall originally was called McCoy Flats. That was the name of it, that no one found out till 5 or 10 years after we were calling it the West Wall, because didn't know the name, so it's on the west side. It looks like a wall. It got West Wall. But that was the name I came up with because I didn't know what else to call it. And then I was corrected a few years later, and they told me it's called McCoy Flats. So the West Wall is actually McCoy Flats. So where is McCoy? Was it up here? Was it in here somewhere? I've never been able to find out. But it was listed in the National Registry of Ghost Towns. So it did exist, but the internet came out and bypassed those books. I don't know what happened to the book. I had the book, but I either got wrecked in Hurricane Charlie or the fire or whatever. But we've just lost it when we've lost everything else all the time. But I did have the books, but I don't remember what it was.
Well, I've reached out to the Charlotte County Historical Society.
What's his name?
Frank Deskin.
Frank
So-
Desquin, and that's one of the things we're going to be asking him. We're going to start doing some history shows, not as part of the fishing, well, as part of the fishing club, obviously, but because I love the history of this area. This area is really, really cool. We have Indian battles. I mean, Ponce de Leon was killed here. Now, he died quite a ways away, but the wound that mortally wounded him was here. And so we've got everything from cool battles to just an amazing amount of history.
And of course, the Fountain of Youth, which was right off of Burnt Store Road over here.
Yep.
So-
And the Fountain of Youth. And there was another settlement. I don't know if it's here at Burnt Store. I think it was at Pirate Harbor. Was one of the first settlements they think was the original Burnt Store because there was a trading post there where ships would come in and go out.
So yeah, I mean, we'll try not to get too deep into the weeds with some of that history, but the history of Charlotte Harbor and what surrounds it is really cool.
Yeah, there's a pirate ship buried here 20 feet under the mud. There's another one back up in here 20 feet up under the mud. So just all kinds of cool stuff.
Do we have any fishing reports from the West Wall, Robert?
No.
McCoy Flats, do we have any fishing reports from there?
No, sir.
Okay. Then we'll just slide our way on down to the Cape Hayes Bar. Anything there?
There's a whole lot of nothing there, too.
A whole lot of nothing. So these are reports of people who are fishing and not catching anything?
No, I just didn't get any reports from there. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Be more specific.
Very good. Thank you, sir. I appreciate
Too
that.
low.
Turtle and Bull Bays.
The one guy said he couldn't even get around the corner in that little trough going to Muddy Bay from out of Turtle Bay. He was just kind of idling along trying to get there, and he said he couldn't.
Too shallow.
Yep.
So we slid up into Turtle Bay one day last week when we had a little bit of water, and there were a ton of fish all through these areas, all around. Up along the mangrove shorelines, we saw redfish, we saw snook, we saw sheepshead. None of them were eating anything. They were all just hanging out and chilling, but there were a lot of fish cruising in through that area.
What was your water temperature?
Pretty chilly. 62, 63.
Yep.
So
Sounds pretty cold.
One of the ways to break that they're not chewing thing is because the water over there is very clear. And
very.
when you're over there and you're back in amongst these islands, fishing these bays back in here, it's so still. It's like looking through the windshield of your car on a nice day. They can see you plain as day. So if you see where the fish are and they're kind of hanging out in those spots but not eating, now's the time when I'm going to take an 8-foot rod. I'm going to put like a 2,000 size reel on it, 6-pound braid, 6-pound mono. I want something really thin and light that I can cast as far as possible. The longer the rod helps you with that leverage to get the distance, but if you put a 3,000 or 4,000 size reel on it, this loop from this side, let me get my Cabo here, my Quantum Cabo
Much
reel.
better demonstrator there.
Arguably the strongest reel ever made. I would say, I think time will prove that statement pretty true. But this distance here determines how big the loop is when you cast it. Because when you throw it and the Cabo's giving you that great cast going out there, this loop size is hitting the guides, causing friction. So what I want to do is reduce the size of these loops by making my reel really small. Now you got a limited space, limited area, very few obstructions, so you don't need all the power. You just need to be able to hang on and be patient. So downsize your line, downsize the reel, lengthen the rod as much as you can, and that way you can go back. And what I'll do is a test cast. I'll go and cast as far as I can and see how close I am, and then I'll move the boat a little bit closer if I can't quite reach it until I can be as far back as possible and still cast that trough line. Because when you're up around these, you're sort of casting under the mangroves, but mostly you're casting troughs out in front of the mangroves. So you just got to get close to the drip edge. You don't have to get right under the mangroves. And yeah, it's pretty
rough.
blurry back up in there.
Yep.
But I fished, this island around here, up in here. There's a little pocket here, the opening down on this side of it. I've never caught much fish on this side, but I do pretty good on this side. But working these areas here, most of the time you're not trying to skip under the mangroves, so you don't have to be close. You can be way back and doing a really long cast at it, and that's what's going to get you through these clear, still days.
Yep. And we did find a couple places
And get the Cabo reel, because
where the trout were feeding. But that's where they could get the wind at their back and make long casts back in towards those fish. And the weird thing about it was that we threw live shrimp at them. They didn't care for a live shrimp at all. We kept catching catfish on the live shrimp. But if you threw a soft plastic, the trout were more than happy to take that.
What I find with the redfish, when it gets like this, I tend to, if we got sunshine and I'm throwing the live shrimp and they won't even look at them, I throw a couple on the live well deck, get them so that they're just turning a little bit red, stick them on the hook and throw them back in there. And something that's got a little bit of rot to it, they'll go after it much faster.
A little bit of stank.
A little stank.
All right, moving on to Gasparilla Sound.
They're seeing a few fish in there, but very few people could get into it just because of how low the water's been. But a couple of guys did get in there in the afternoon. They saw far more fish than they caught, but they did manage to get a few trout, one bluefish, a couple of ladyfish, but they did see a few redfish. They saw a couple of snook, but they weren't getting them to cooperate at all.
Good spot to sneak in is by Sandfly over here, where devilfish is. You've got some deeper troughs that allow you access back here, but it's still very, very limited. And a lot of the guys have been fishing here a long time. Instead of being spread out all the way across where they can't get to, they'll concentrate up around this area here because it's the only place you can get in. So watch for access, watch for a parking spot. It's like going to Publix the day before Thanksgiving. How do I find a parking spot?
Yeah.
Not fun.
All right, bringing it to Placida.
They've been getting some sheepshead off the trestle there. And this week, the weather's been so bad, obviously, up north, and that's been affecting us, so they weren't able to ship fiddler crabs last week or this week. They weren't even able to do freshwater baits either, because most of your freshwater baits come from Arkansas and Mississippi.
Okay.
They brought down us a little bit of freshwater minnows this week because they had some left over because it's slow for them inland where their farm is at, where they sell them.
So the sheepshead were on shrimp is what you're telling me.
All on shrimp. A couple guys did catch them on fish bites. And then a couple guys listened to us and did the fish bites in conjunction with the shrimp. But they're using live shrimp. They're using frozen shrimp. Doing okay. Couple of mangrove snapper, couple of pompano, and a couple of bonnet heads. All from the same couple individuals. And they were literally just fishing as close as they could to the trestle. But they said there was areas where there was sand that they've never seen before.
Mm-hmm.
And they said it was really pretty cool because the tide was so low at Little Gasparilla Pass there that the sandbar came all the way out, and he said he said from where they were at, because he didn't get super close to it, he just kind of came around the corner under the bridge and looked. He said it looked like it was only about a 15-foot opening to get out because there was
Wow.
so much sand exposed. He
That's
said you could
crazy.
see the real defined line right against the shoreline of that channel going out. And he said it looked like out front a little bit of the sand looked a little bit exposed on the south side there. So he said it was a real defined line. That would have been neat to see.
That would have been. Okay.
He's
By the
never
way,
he's never seen it that low.
I was looking up a couple of comments. The guy, we've got to do a show about. We did the ethical discussion on, fishing in cold weather.
Right.
Just so the two of you guys say, good comment. And how ethical is it to use all these fancy electronics and stuff? So something we can debate on a show later. But there was some really good comments on some of the stuff that we're going to do some shows about. And I think the weirdest part about it was I can't find one of the comments that would have been very good for what we're doing right now. But the comments are bringing in some really cool show ideas. And I was looking for one. I explained this because I was sitting there looking at my phone, and it was trying to find that comment, but I can't find it right now. I got to go back through it.
Yeah.
But there's
And,
some really cool stuff.
We always try to be very responsive to the folks that we're putting this content out there for. This content isn't for us, it's for you guys. And if you have something that you're interested in seeing or knowing more about, then let us know by emailing us, frank@fishandfranks.com, or put comments on the videos. We do look at them. We don't respond to all of them, but we do
Fishing
look at them.
reports, pictures, videos, anything you want us to do a show about. We're going to see more of it on frank@fishandfranks.com than we do on some of the comments, but we try to look at everything. But
You're
one of the
more
guys
apt
said,
to come
don't
up with
change
answers.
the aspect of the show or how you structure the show. And I was thinking to myself, well, I'm probably pretty late to change now.
You're stuck with it.
I mean, I haven't changed a whole lot in the last, you've been with me almost 30 years now.
Mm-hmm.
I got quieter.
Yeah.
A little more mellow. I don't try and punch anybody or anything anymore.
Been a while since he's thrown a bait bucket out in a 41.
Yeah. So
Hair's a little greener and a little thinner, but other than that.
yeah, greener. I mean, this is where I'm going to go apply for a job. I'm going to make my hair all kinds of stupid colors so they won't even look at you.
Get a couple nose piercings and a forehead tattoo, too. It'd be awesome.
Exactly.
And by the way, this is Gasparilla Pass, okay? Little Gasparilla Pass was up here, and it's closed now.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's where Little Gasparilla Pass was, and it chafes me just a tiny bit. Every
It
time I
chafes
hear
you a
somebody
lot.
call
That's
this
why I like saying it,
Little
because I know it
Gasparilla
burns
Pass.
your ass.
It's all right. I'll find something to chafe you, buddy.
That's easy for you to do too, but there's a handful of things that just really, really irritate you, and I know that's one of them.
All right, north we go to Lemon Bay.
Paddle tail, shad tail.
Wouldn't you like to
that
work
gets
at a
him
place
chafed
where
too.
if we know what bothers you, you're going to hear about it all the time? Let's just dig on each other.
Gotta
Lemon
have-
Bay, Robert.
Yeah, but the funny part is, if we're picking on each other about the name of a pass, it's not a bad life.
Yeah, it's not a bad life. And it's been a long time, well over a decade.
Yeah,
Probably closer to 2 decades than 1 decade.
yeah.
So it's
All
been a
right,
long
the Bay of Lemons, Stump Pass, Milton Pass, Lemon Bay Park, Indian Mound Park, places like that. What do you know,
Is
Robert?
Milton Pass going to last?
It's a good question. I saw some complaints again on Facebook about how we need to get Milton Pass closed. Milton Pass being, of course, this little thing right here that cut through post-hurricane, because they said Stump Pass is getting too narrow. So, and that was the concern from the Army Corps of Engineers, and that's why the plan was and still is to close Milton Pass, because they were worried that Stump Pass might start to
Without
narrow up.
the volume of water and the pressure it can fill in.
Yeah, and they've decided that Stump Pass is the pass that's going to be there. So,
Right. They want to
regardless of
close
anything
this
else.
off in order to preserve this pass.
Yeah,
So
which wants
Yeah.
to close anyway. It keeps trying. It keeps trying to fill in and get shallower and get narrower. So they've got a rock right in there that's not doing the job that they were hoping it was going to do.
Not even close.
So,
But
yeah,
in the end, God will decide. Mother Nature will decide. Pick whichever name you want. But, if you want to hear God laugh, tell him your plans.
ultimately, I think they're going to have to do an actual jetty on both sides, like they've done at Venice Inlet, to make
keep
Stump Pass be the
open?
thing that's going to stay open.
Well, you see how
But-
this sand comes? Now, when you watch, see how this comes out and then turns south?
Mm-hmm.
The problem with it is the water current comes north to south. And that's why I see people up here complaining. The Caloosahatchee, it's 60, 80 miles south against the current. Yeah.
Caloosahatchee, and you can
Way
look
down
at
here.
it. You can see where it goes.
Yeah.
It comes out around and it goes south.
A little bit up north, but 90% of it flows south.
When they get it really pumping out of the lake, then you get some flow goes up through Matlacha Pass, and you can see that dark water sometimes come all the way up into here.
Because of Boca Grande Pass, it doesn't let this water come through. Boca Grande Pass overpowers it and holds that water down here.
Yeah.
We don't get, if the Caloosahatchee is going crazy, we might get 1 or 2% of that up north here.
Yep.
But you've also got Captiva, redfish. We've got all these passes trying to push water into here, which limits this to pretty much dumping out down here.
But look at them all. Pass comes out and points
They
south.
all, because
This pass comes out and it goes straight through, but it's building up on this side more than it is on that side.
and it just north to south is what the current runs.
Poor little blind pass that
Yeah, poor little
can't
blind
hardly
pass.
see anymore here.
Yeah.
But yeah, they all want to feed to the south.
Because the current flows this way, and I just think it's absolutely amazing that literally people from this area complain about the Caloosahatchee when it's physically impossible for it to go there.
Yeah.
It can't happen except on social media. Now on social media, it can come here. It
Oh,
can
yeah,
crawl
on
in your
social
bed,
media,
get you in the middle of the night.
Random posts from people who have no idea what they're talking about become reality. So,
Yeah.
do we have any fishing reports from Lemon Bay, Robert?
A few trout. Lots and lots of sand being exposed, but a few guys did catch some trout.
Any particular locations? It's a big bay.
No, they put in up there at Indian Mounds and had a hard time getting in there.
Okay. I'll just
But
put
they
some
were
random
fishing out of
spots.
a little
Boy,
flats
out of
boat.
Indian Mounds would be skinny, wouldn't it?
They were fishing out of a flats boat because I'm surprised you were able to launch. And they said,
Yeah.
well, there was 4 other guys trying to and couldn't.
Yeah, because
they
Indian
were-
Mounds, that's on a high tide, is less than 4 feet of water
Yeah.
getting out of there.
So that's it?
Yeah.
A few random trout?
Yeah, that's all
Okay.
I had.
Then that's all I'm writing.
A lot of people are finding out that you're putting this on fishandfranks.com and they can just go look at the area and read the report.
Yes, that's
So,
what I'm typing over here. That's
If you
my
go
deal.
on fishandfranks.com and hit the place-by-place fishing report icon, it will take you to a written version of this, and you can just go down and say, okay, this is the area I'm interested in, just read it. You don't have to listen to us jammer on about whatever hits our head at the moment.
Yes.
And, and you've got an old man here who, is psychologically, I wouldn't say impaired, but I'd say confused, and talks about random stuff all the time. So if you don't want to listen to all that, fishandfranks.com, place-by-place fishing report, look at what you want.
Yeah. The only ones who actually have to listen to this are me and Robert. So
Yeah, and that's unfortunate, but I'm still Fishing Frank. My face is on the logo. I get to do that stuff.
all right, let's head out to the Gulf and see what's going on out there. Now, before we go, I'd like to take a look at the forecast real quick. Forecast for Saturday: northwest 20 to 25, gusting up to 30, increasing to 35, gusting to 45 later in the afternoon. Seas 2 to 4, then occasionally to 5, building to 6 to 9, occasionally to 11 by the afternoon, and then later into the evening, seas 9 to 13, occasionally to 17 feet. So, what do we got going on out there in the Gulf?
Can I translate that for you? Can I translate what that meant?
Go ahead.
If you go in the Gulf, you're going to die. This is not you go in the Gulf when it's like this, you are going to die. And if you're going to go out there, turn your radio off, turn your transponders off, because you should not make somebody try and find you. So if you want to commit suicide by Gulf, go ahead, but leave the Coast Guard and the emergency responders out of it.
Yeah. They're going to send the helicopter anyway, so they'll probably enjoy that training, actually.
Yeah, the helicopter guys probably get a kick out of that.
Yeah, nobody's going on the
Dodging
boat.
between 13-foot seas.
Yeah.
Those guys are crazy.
They have to go out
I
there
take
and
that back.
practice anyway.
Head on out. Call the Coast Guard. They'll send a helicopter. That way the guys can videotape you while you're screaming.
Yeah, it'll be entertaining. We'll put it on Facebook. In the meantime, Robert.
Robert's looking at me going, did you just say that?
No,
of
it's
course
true.
I did.
It's true. I mean, I get it. You shouldn't be a goofball. What is it now? Out in the Gulf?
Yes, sir. Out in the
I
Gulf.
got one guy that went out in the Gulf last week. That's it. One guy. And he got some small lane snapper and a few grunts.
Did you say smallies?
Small lane.
Oh, small lanes. Okay.
Yeah, small lanes. He actually caught a couple of beeliners, too. But they were real small. He said they were like 6-7 inches long.
Beeliners are vermilion snapper
8-10.
for those of you who
What's
don't
that?
like the
So
slang
when they get
names.
up 8-10 inches, they're pretty damn good.
Yeah. Well, he only made it out to like 18 miles, which surprised me with the beeliner part of that. But he also caught a fish that he wasn't sure what it was, but he did not take a picture of it because he asked me if it was a if they could catch silkies out there, silky snapper, and that's usually in 180 feet of water or better.
Yeah, but I mean, you can catch almost anything out there that decides to swim into shallow water.
Fish don't know any different.
But he didn't take a picture.
Nope. So I gave him a hard time. It's my neighbor, a couple houses over.
Okay.
Um,
I gave him a wedgie, but okay.
is it more likely to catch big fish in shallower water now?
In the Gulf? Yeah.
Doesn't it when it cool down they come closer because they don't know that they're,
In some instances, but we were so warm this year that I don't know if those fish really noticed anything different because it seems like the last several years, it used to be the red grouper would come in from 100 feet to like 80 feet. It seemed like they would come in
and from 80
drastically
feet
different.
into 60 feet.
But now it seems like they stay at that 100 feet or better. And I don't know if it's just because they're being...
It's something we got to look into and do a show about and
So-
see if we can get some information on that.
Right.
In our fishing reports for the radio show, we've definitely had some grouper coming in shallower. We've had reports as shallow as even 40 and 50 feet.
For
where they've
keepers?
been caught red grouper,
Yeah.
keeper size.
That's the way it's supposed to work. Didn't know if it still was.
Yeah, more of that's been off Sarasota, off Naples, those types of areas. But I am getting reports that it's happening. So
Okay. Very cool.
just may not be happening right here, which is why Robert might not be hearing some of those reports.
Right. Well, it's one of the problems. We keep getting, do Tampa Bay. We would love to, but I don't fish Tampa Bay. I have in the past. I've gone up, fished the power plants. I've fished all around the Skyway and everywhere else up there, but I haven't done it in years, and our customers don't fish there, so we never hear about it. So, and here's one thing. It doesn't have to be local fishing reports. If you have a fishing report from Tampa, if you're in Rhinelander, Wisconsin, if you're on Lake Minnetonka,
If you go
wherever,
to Costa Rica and catch a roosterfish,
let us know. We'll do fishing. The fishing reports we do aren't limited to this area, but they're limited by the knowledge we have. So if you're on Okeechobee catching fish and you would like to share it, please send us reports, pictures. If you're in Georgia, New York, pick a place. We'll be happy to report on it. We'd like to, and it's not limited by geography. It's limited by knowledge. So Frank at fishandfranks.com. If you're one of our customers and you're on Lake Champlain, send us pictures of what you're catching. We'd love to talk about it. Love to hear from you.
right now it's a little limited by Google Earth, which is giving us some pretty fuzzy images of what's going on. But we're at the Venice Jetties and Venice Pier.
Yeah, just got to back out quite a ways.
Yeah. Well,
Because then it'll kind of reset.
all right. I'm going to back out all the way to, let's look at the whole state. All right.
Well, here's something cool. Back out just a bit. 12,000 years ago during the Ice Age, this was the size of Florida. That's how big, because the water level was down so far during the Ice Age. When you look at all the Swiss cheese bottom, the hard bottom rocks, all that was caused by rainwater on this during the Ice Age. That rain is acidic compared to saltwater, so it ate out all the limestone areas out here, and that's why the fishing is good. But that was all caused from rainwater. But this is what, nope,
So
right
nope,
here,
not all the way over here. Yep, right
yep,
there.
right here was right about, oh, there it is, right there. That's how big Florida was. This actually was the beach area here, but
Right.
this was land during the Ice Age from here over to here.
Your sea level was approximately 400 feet lower at its minimum. So anytime that you're out there in the Atlantic or in the Gulf and you're in less than 400 feet of water, that was dry land at the height of the Ice Age.
And that's why they think, some of the early civilizations were built out in here, because a lot of this stuff that is underwater now was exposed during the Ice Age for 1,000 years or more. And when you have something exposed for 1,000 years, all of a sudden it comes back in. Now, was that random enough?
It's pretty
It's actually
random.
pretty cool, though.
The
But it's
downside
true.
is that
Yeah.
it didn't reset to give us a clear image of Venice Inlet. But trust us, it's right there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. This blurry little spot between these blurry, there must be a lot of terrorist activity, because they blur this out when the
something's
terrorists
going
are
on.
looking at it.
so Venice Jetties, Venice Pier. Robert, anything
A few sheepshead and a couple of whiting
from the pier? Or
from the jetty.
Okay.
I have not had any reports off of sharkies at all this week. But a handful of guys are catching a few sheepshead. Nothing real big, but they are catching some sheepshead there.
The only thing I've got off Sharkies was a guy asking me about how they do the rig when they're throwing the big weights out, putting it in there, then clipping the bait on to let it run down the weight.
Yeah,
Trolley rig.
rig.
Yeah, I was showing them, release clips and, sinker slides and all that stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Then we'll go back down here where we were when we were looking at the mouth of the Caloosahatchee at Punta Gorda.
I got nothing.
Such a beautiful area. Come on, guys, send us some stuff.
Let's
Redfish,
try the next
Nothing.
pass.
nothing.
All
Sanibel,
Nothing.
nothing.
Captiva pass.
Boca.
nothing there.
Boca, I got a little bit.
Okay. A Boca Grande pass. All right. What do we got?
So on the south side of the channel there, they got a few pompano off of it. And then behind it on Charlotte Rocks there, they got, not Charlotte Rocks, Quarantine Rocks. They got a couple sheepshead, a couple pompano, one oversized redfish, and the yellow guy with the black mask. Porkfish?
Porkfish.
Porkfish. They're like an aquarium fish. They don't really get much bigger than about your hand. I mean, they do get bigger than that, but most of the time they're smaller than that.
They get
when you
about
catch
5
them.
pounds, actually.
Do they really?
They do.
I did not know they got that big. But they're
not
a
here.
really, really, really beautiful pinfish. They got these
Yeah.
yellow stripes on them, like sulfur yellow with a white gill plate with a black eye guard. They're really pretty, but you just don't hear too many people catching them. So it's pretty neat.
And if you want to try eating one, there are special rules that go with porkfish because they are regulated as marine life here in Florida, which means that you're supposed to be harvesting them for aquarium use. So the special rule is they have to be kept alive until landed ashore. Once you land them ashore, you can go ahead and stab them through the eyeballs and then fillet them. Not a problem. But you have to keep them in the
I thought
live
I was
well.
being a little blunt. Josh, that is.
You can do it. Perfectly legal.
Yes.
There's no prosecution for that.
Robert, do you have a word? I'm short for a word on this.
Savage. Savage is the word?
Fava
I'm gonna
beans.
stick with that.
I would. No.
Psychotic,
Savage doesn't quite do it.
sociopathic.
Savage doesn't quite do it.
Fava beans comes to mind.
What is it?
Fava beans.
Fava beans?
It puts the lotion on its skin.
Hannibal Lecter.
I was going to say, that's pretty Hannibal Lecter. Yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to be on the Gulf beaches. Anywhere in the surf, Robert?
Boca Grande right there along the surf line. They've been getting some sheepshead, actually a few really nice sheepshead right off the rocks there. A couple of whiting.
You talking about the rocks down by the lighthouse off
right,
the point?
right at the lighthouse, yeah.
Does that, after the pier, there used to be a rock wall there.
They've
Did that,
changed all that now.
what is it?
They changed all of it now after the hurricane.
Yeah, that rock wall's gone.
No, they added to it.
Oh, they
They
added
added
to
some
it?
rocks to it and stuff like that to stabilize that whole thing.
Yeah, because this area here where there's a bunch of rocks, I've caught a lot of fish off of there.
Yeah.
A lot of fish.
It goes in spurts with my reports on that spot, but yeah, the sheepshead and a couple whiting, couple pompano.
Well, it's because I haven't been there.
Yeah, I've only been there out there once since the
I think it's
floods.
been 15 years since I fished that.
Any other beach spots, Robert? Got a lot of beach.
Up there by Blind Pass.
Blind Pass.
Blind Pass Park.
Right there.
And guys are fishing on the inside.
Blurry too.
Now, which hurricane opened up Blind Pass and then they filled it in? remember?
Well, Milton and Helene destroyed the whole road, and it opened up right across. But
So Milton and Helene
there was no
reopened
water.
Blind Pass
There was
for
no
a while.
water
No.
flowing through it. It just totally
No.
destroyed everything.
No, it destroyed the road, and there was briefly probably water flowing across into Lemon Bay, but it didn't open up the pass. That
Okay.
hasn't been open, I don't think, in my lifetime. I've certainly never seen it open.
Because I thought a few years ago something cut across there and then they filled it back in.
It's destroyed the road several times,
Yeah.
but nothing's actually cut through.
Okay.
Blind Pass Beach has what, Robert?
Not snow. Jesus, a couple of trout were caught off of the backside, and then they got a couple of whiting, a couple of sheepshead, and catfish and pufferfish, and also a really big bonnethead. The guy got a 41-inch bonnethead.
Wow. Nice bonnethead.
A really nice bonnethead.
That's a lot of fight. Bonnethead's a small hammerhead. And those little hammerheads like that, they're all muscle. I mean, and that bonnet's got a pretty good size tail, the V on that tail. They generate a lot more power than what you think they do. When you think, okay, it's a small shark, it's 2-3 foot, but once you get past that 3 foot on there, all muscle, all power, and I don't know, maybe they use that head to steer themselves around or something.
do.
But
They do.
oh my God,
Yeah,
that's
they
a
call
lot
it-
of fight.
They call it a hydrofoil.
Oh yeah, okay,
So
I've heard of that.
they caught like 4 of them out there, but that was his big one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, and
2
high
3
attitude
footers are
fish too.
really nice to catch on really really light tackle. But
Oh, they're
those
a blast.
once you start getting 3.5 feet or more, that's a lot of power.
Yeah, they're awesome.
All right, bring it to Matlacha.
Guys are catching sheepshead off of it, and that's the only one
From the
report.
bridge?
Yeah. There was a couple guys that went down there fishing together, so they were in buying some frozen shrimp, and it was probably the last of the fiddlers because that was last week when they were in.
Blurry
Last
down
weekend,
there too.
maybe.
Lots of sheepshead or a few?
They caught quite a few, they said. They didn't specify of any really giant ones, but they did say they caught quite a few.
Okay. We're going to say it's pretty good numbers.
But they caught it on both fiddlers and shrimp, both.
Okay. Pine Island Sound.
Honestly, I don't have anything from anywhere down there this week.
Okay, then we won't talk about Pine Island Sound. We'll just skip it. We'll go on to Jug Creek Shoal and Bokeelia.
Definitely nothing there. Guys said even if they could find white bait, they wouldn't have been able to get to it because it was all sand.
A lot of low water.
Burnt
Lot of
Store
low
and
water.
Two Pines.
Few redfish is all I've heard about. Somebody was telling me they were working the bar and they had their boat outside of the bar and they were just casting up onto the bar looking for the grass and they caught a few redfish doing that. But
Yeah.
it was that
Did he tell you about the pompano and the ladyfish too?
no, I didn't hear
Maybe
about
it was a
pompano.
separate guy because a different guy said they caught 2 redfish drifting the outside of the bar, but they caught a couple of pompano, a couple ladyfish. He saw a couple flounder while they were drifting. Never hooked any, but he actually said he thought it was a stingray at first, and then it stopped about 5 feet from where it spooked out from under the boat as they were drifting along, well, trolling motoring along.
Cool. Yeah,
But it's
no,
so
these
skinny
guys
down
caught
there.
like 4 redfish and complained about puffers.
Yeah, no shortage of that. The puffers and lizardfish, but the lizardfish bite holes in your bait. The pufferfish destroy the bait. They take the whole tail.
Yeah, they just take chunks out.
Yeah,
They're not trying to get the tail. They're just taking chunks.
it's pretty funny.
All right. Moving on up, the East Side Keys and Pirate Harbor.
once again, the same thing. It's just too skinny of water up there for anyone to get on the back side of it. A couple of guys fished the mouth and caught a couple bonnet heads and trout right there in front of Pirate Harbor. But it was too skinny for any of them to do anything over there.
Okay.
It's a very bleak report this week, but I mean, it's the honest thing. I mean, we can make up all sorts of crap, but...
Anything going on in Alligator Creek?
Alligator Creek, the guy caught a few trout right there in the middle of the channel right at the beginning, and then he caught one trout going back into Burnt Store through that little cut.
Gotcha.
But that was all he caught, and he caught that one trolling.
So, yeah, I haven't heard about much of anything. I'm looking forward to getting back over in here and fishing. I used to fish that all the time, and this takes you up Poacher's Cut, which comes out of here, comes around, and get into this, but on this side over here. But good God, don't go there on a high tide, because that water will go out and you will be stuck back there for hours and hours.
Right
Always
now,
go into
possibly
these
days.
spots. What?
Possibly days right now.
Yeah, and always go back to these spots on the lowest tide possible, because after low tide, the water comes in. Oh, I want to get there at high tide. What happens after high tide? The water goes out. So remember, you never approach these flats areas at high tide, because it's almost guaranteed you're going to be stuck back here, and somebody's going to pull out here. You're going to have to walk out to them and then come back, get your boat later. So go in on the lowest tide possible, and once high tide hits, be very, very attentive, because it's easy to get stuck back there.
And when Frank says the lowest tide possible, he doesn't mean pick the very lowest tide that you can find on the tide chart. He means the lowest tide that your boat can actually get in there.
Yes.
Just for clarity's
the
sake.
lowest accessible tide.
There we go.
But you want to get there before high tide, because high tide's like, uh-oh, time to look at that's exit stage left.
Yeah. And that's the warning bell that the fish use. That's when the fish start coming out of there and heading out, because they know they're going to get stuck. And you got to be smarter than a fish. Okay, folks?
Yeah, you got to go follow the water in, follow the water out. But when you're following it out, get ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
All right. Ponce de Leon Park.
A couple guys caught some bigger sheepshead there. Most of them have been a little small, but a couple guys did say they caught a couple big sheepshead there. A couple guys said they saw a couple big sheepshead caught there. But the snapper have been little tiny guys. They're seeing a few snook, but not catching any of them.
Yeah, I had a guy come in and caught some small sheephead there. I decided I have to work one afternoon a week. Got other stuff going on, but in the store I'm trying to... It's funny, if you're not doing it all the time, that you start losing bits of it, especially as you get older. You just for every one thing that goes in here, two things fall out of here. So you go, oh, okay, yeah, now I just lost, my childhood address. What town did I grow up in? Because I listened to Josh tell me about, no, I'm not even going to repeat it.
I was teaching you the name of the lake that translates as you fish on your side, I fish on my side, and nobody fishes in the middle, which is Lake Chargagagog, Manchagagog, Chabuna-Gungamog. Do we have anything in the PGI canals?
Really?
I think we're back to discussing what to do after you land a fish.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? It's the land of Josh.
PGI canals, Robert?
Been really slow back there. People are catching a couple of sheepshead and a couple small mangrove snapper, but it's been so blooming cold. The fish literally have gotten just lockjaw. And I don't even know if it's just lockjaw. They just know that they have a hard time processing any food that they're going to eat, with as cold as it is.
That's why right now you can throw whitebait, you can throw pinfish, you can throw whatever you want, but for the most fish, the colder the water is, the better shrimp is for bait. At the reef, anything going on?
No. No, nothing.
Anything at the 20-foot hole?
Nothing.
No reports.
What's
Anything
that?
for baitfish reports?
No.
Hey, I'm just going through the list. Freshwater fishing.
Freshwater fishing?
I got guys coming in wanting to rig wacky style because guys are catching the bass running wacky worms.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking for greens and blues on the color. Had another fella come in and he was fishing with somebody, and you know, uh, wacky hasn't been that popular for a while. But I was showing him how I rigged the Senko worms so that they come down flat.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, right now, that would be almost the dinger style that we used to do.
Right.
But you and I were on Okeechobee, and we were both bound and determined we were going to catch them on Texas rigs. And I finally caught one on Texas rig, and then I switched over because I think we were fishing with David from Osun,
Yeah.
Osun Lures, and he had these worms came out, and you had to rig them a certain way. And what is it? Are they in Yamamoto's? Senkos?
Senkos. Yeah.
Senkos. Okay. So he was showing us how to rig them up. He was catching fish after fish after fish. And Robert and I are like, I can do this. I can catch them on a Texas rig. Well, I finally got one. I switched over to David. I probably caught 4 by the time Robert finally got one on his Texas rig and decided to switch over. Then he surpassed me in numbers by the end of the day. But it was that was an eye-opening experience. That basically the same worm, but just you rig them a little differently, and it can take you from
zero to hero.
Zero to hero. Good way to put it.
Yeah. It was crazy to see that little subtle difference of it being rigged. Made a difference. The other thing we've sold a couple of this week is a couple more of those goofy balls.
Yeah.
That like spider ball, whatever you want to call it. I had a guy come in and buy 2 of them. And he doesn't know why, but he's catching 2 to 4 pound fish on them. He's hooking them up wacky style, just a little number 1 or a 1/0 hook right through it.
This is like a little, where's my hand? A little round ball, and it's probably about the size of a good sized marble.
Yeah.
And then it's got just little strands. It looks like an octopus anemone or something like that.
Almost looks like you took a rubber band ball and cut a couple strands around the whole thing. And
right. Just got all kinds of squiggly legs all the way around the outside of it. And you just put the hook across through that, throw it out, let it drift down.
Yeah. Guys are doing them multiple ways. They're doing drop shot on them, because I was asking the guy how he's doing it, because I tried looking it up to see some of the different videos that are out there, and YouTube can be okay and can be absolutely terrifying with the crap that they teach you. So I was just trying to get an idea on how people are rigging it.
When you're going
his most success is doing that little drop shot, just casting it out, kind of just letting it float down with a real light drop shot sinker, and just kind of.
So you got the sinker down here. And then you've got the bait up here off a separate line.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like a porgy rig with one line out.
Right.
You know, a double drop. So you got your weight on the bottom, you go up, and your bait comes off, and then you tie on up here. That is what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, and he's just sitting there just kind of
bouncing a little bit.
Lightly bouncing his rod. He's not even really moving it. He's just getting it to wiggle a little bit. He's not actually moving his sinker or anything. It's just
so what you want
stationary.
it to do is just kind of do this, not this.
Right.
So you're just kind of doing that, but not going all the way up and down.
Yeah.
And we bought those things not because I ever believed they would work. It was the first really unusual thing I've seen in a long time. And I like to spend money on people who innovate and do something radically different. Not just a copy of an old lure. Just, okay, I changed the tail and it's 200 times better. I want to see something a little different. So we spent the money on these things just because I was impressed with the innovation of it, right? Mm-hmm. You were impressed with the innovation.
Yeah.
That I shouldn't say I should say we, Robert and I, looked at these and went, at least it's different. So we spent money to purchase these things, and now they're selling?
Yeah. We've sold probably about 5 or 6 of them. But we just got in the other one. That one just came in last week, the one that kind of looks like the same thing, but a centipede. It's got the same straggly hairs coming. It's a Cinco worm with the same, it's actually like the material that's your skirt of a spinnerbait is made out of.
Silicone.
And they just ran it through at different angles through the whole thing. through
Wow.
the Cinco worm. Those just came in last week.
I got to see those. I haven't seen them yet.
Yeah.
But the only reason we're going through this is because if you're into bass fishing and you've been doing something, when it's this cold out, I go out first thing, I'm going to start deep because the water's more stable, temperatures down there. As the sun gets up, and because I'm lazy and I'm old and I'm not going out right now first thing in the morning, by 10, 11 o'clock, if the sun's shining good, now I know I can go out and start casting the sunny side of the canal. And so I'm going to want to be, usually you don't want your shadow on the water, but unfortunately right now, I'm going to try and cast across to now be on the side with the sun to my back so I can get all the way across to the other side, fishing those other sides. Because once the sun comes out, they're going to come up. And if you've got some weed cover, like let's say this shoreline here, if I was fishing from here, I would be looking right outside all these weeds as the sun's shining really bright, because you're going to pick up some of the heat off the bottom, because mostly these canals are dark black bottom. So I'm gonna fish the side where the sun's shining the most, and then maybe later in the day I'm going to switch over to the shady side, but it's going to probably be much later in the day right now, if at all. So bottom bouncing worms right now is probably going to be the best way to catch bass.
Yep. Or shiners.
Deep. Has the spawn started yet? Pre-spawn?
Nope.
No pre-spawn yet?
Haven't heard of anything yet.
'Cause,
I think it's been too cold this past week, so I think that kind of shut the fish down.
yeah, I love the shad wraps, the Rapala shad wraps. Once that pre-spawn starts, they just, and because you're just throwing them out. Well, can't do a fake cast without my quantum reel, my quantum cabo reel. Just throwing them out, and I just literally crank them back pretty quick because they're schooling up fish. They need the oils for their reproduction, so they're trying to eat as much bait fish as possible.
Nope.
Are you just
haven't heard
trying
of
to make me dizzy over there?
No. While you guys were talking about the different freshwater things that you can do, I was looking at some different freshwater spots, places people could consider going.
I thought you were just trying
Especially
to make everybody seasick.
No, if you get seasick because of it, that's a bonus for me. But I'm.
Yeah, I was going to say you'll enjoy
the places
that.
you could go.
Put a treble hook on my quantum reel and snatch you out of there.
Well,
There'd be a big ass treble hook, but
there's.
Are we done?
The hardest part is
Unless it's got a
Crappie.
tarpon
the
report.
drought's out.
Crappie.
there. I haven't had any reports of crappie except for out of Lake Manatee. That's the one and only report that I got was manatee.
Lake Manatee.
Yeah.
I've got guys coming in buying minnows, but nobody's talking.
They almost never do.
Yeah. Oh,
almost
that
never do.
one guy, he found a bridge where there's a bunch of crappie under it.
Yeah.
And I said, no, don't tell me. He's like, he's talking about, oh, we were catching all these crappies, and I got up, I thought they were bass leaving because, they're nice big fish. And he says, I was going up, and I said, no, I cannot guarantee I won't talk about this. I said, don't tell me. It was, I don't know where the bridge is, somewhere in Port Charlotte, but bridge is holding a lot of crappie. He was whacking them 12-inch plus.
Nice.
So there is some crappie fishing going on somewhere.
There's a bridge right there over a canal. It could be that one.
It could be anything.
Don't know if it is.
Yeah, but I
just
can't
zoomed in
even
randomly.
I can't even see anything but
It's very
blurs.
blurry.
Well, and I think the main thing is looking for water right now because there's such low water out there. Find anything that's a little deeper pocket, and even if it's only 6 inches deeper, that can be giant for these fish just to survive.
Okay. Well, can I go back to my chair?
Yeah, I can beam you back in, I think.
All right.
If I can figure out where the beamer button went. Let's get rid of these. And there we get rid of that. And then here's the beamer button. And then we get rid of you.
Okay.
Okay. And then we go back to the chair. And there you are. Hey,
All
congratulations. You're back.
Because I'm back home in my comfy spot with my Quantum Cabo reel, my Flying Fisherman sunglasses. I've got my DOA comfort lures up here.
All I really need is my emotional support can of Get Some 1000. And I'm happy.
I've got to get some AFW ball bearing swivels to play with on the string here. I'm going to get some of those.
That won't be annoying at all.
Oh, it will. Yes, it will. Especially when I put the little clicker on it.
Yeah, great.
All
Something
right.
to look forward to.
Anything else you want to talk about, Robert?
No, I've got no product to promote.
Got what?
I've got no product to promote.
Here, you can play with my Flying Fisherman sunglasses.
You're all good.
I actually had a guy come in and bought a pair of Flying Fisherman sunglasses to support us and our sponsor.
Nice.
Because he wanted to look as cool as you.
Yeah, I'm not sure that was exactly it, but what a nice guy, and he was appreciative. And thank you guys. That's really nice of you. But he went out of his way to tell me, he wanted to support all this, and getting the Flying Fisherman sunglasses was the way he did it.
Awesome. So we appreciate you guys putting up with us during these reports. Hopefully you can put up with us just a little bit more on the radio show tomorrow, Slack Tides Radio, 7 to 9 a.m. on Kicks Country 92.9 FM, featuring a whole lot of me and a whole lot of Robert, and even a little bit of Fishin' Frank. So
Not much. Very, very tiny bit.
Just
You get
enough.
a break from the mouth.
the proper dose of Fishin' Frank. So
I don't know. I'm probably not going to be on tomorrow because I haven't fished, and I'm trying to get so that I can actually give you a real report and real fishing. And it's so cold and everything else. I think I'm going to pass because I don't really have anything good to talk about.
The problem is that we don't want a fishing report from you. That's not what you're there for. Robert does the Charlotte Harbor Fishing Report.
Robert does the fishing reports. There's not a brain like his anywhere.
Yeah, we need you for other things.
Okay. Well, then I'll be on the show tomorrow because, well, it's tomorrow, right?
You're full of all sorts of wisdom, so
I'm full of a lot of
All
things.
sorts of things,
Wisdom
yes.
may be one of them. I think there's some horse hockey involved. But anyway, anybody else got anything to say?
nope.
I don't think so. I think we're
Music
wrapping it up.
Maestro,
It's
and
coming. Here it
thank
is.
you guys so much for putting up with us. We're adding subscribers and likes and all that kind of stuff, making the computers show our stuff to more people, and thank you so much for that. We really appreciate it and had no expectation of that, and thank you. The wife doesn't even think I'm crazy now.